The room went dead quiet, jaws dropped. Everyone froze as Christian Combs shot up from his seat like he'd been electrocuted. His face turned pale white when the lawyer mentioned underage guests at his father's parties. No goodbye, no excuses. He just stormed out, pushing past his own lawyers and slamming the door behind him. This wasn't just some celebrity having a bad day. This was the exact moment a famous family's world came crashing down on live TV. And trust me, what I'm about to tell you gets even more shocking. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the massive scandal that has everyone talking. I've spent weeks digging through court papers, listening to witness stories and putting together all the pieces of this wild case. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what happened and why it matters. It all started on a fancy boat in December 2022. Grace Omar, a 25-year-old boat worker, was hired to serve food and drinks. She thought she'd be working a normal family trip. According to her lawsuit filed in Los Angeles, what she found instead was a non-stop party with strange people coming and going at all hours. Omar claims Christian Combs came on the boat drunk and pushed her to drink tequila shots. Drinks she now thinks were mixed with drugs. Her lawsuit includes parts of voice recordings that supposedly caught what happened, where she can be heard saying no and asking what was in her drink. Omar's lawsuit tells a disturbing story. She says Christian kissed her neck and touched her body against her will. The court papers include quotes from the recording where she clearly says, "Excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. If I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch my legs like that." When she tried to get away by saying she needed boss approval to stay with him, Christian supposedly said, "Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now." Omar says she answered, "Well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing." Things got worse when Omar tried to go back to work. Christian reportedly followed her, asking for a place to sleep on the boat. When she showed him to the movie room, Omar claims Christian blocked the door, took off his clothes and tried to force her to perform a sex act on him. She says she fought him off when someone else walked in. The most shocking part of her lawsuit includes photos said to show bruises on Omar's arms from the attack, something rarely seen in these kinds of cases. Omar says the aftermath was terrible. She reports having panic attacks, thoughts of suicide, eating problems, and even seizures after what happened. She claims when she told the boat's captain about the attack, he yelled at her, and suggests the captain might have been paid by Sean Combs to keep quiet. The lawsuit names both Christian and his father, Sean "Diddy" Combs. While Christian faces charges of sexual assault and causing emotional harm, Diddy is named because he rented the boat and supposedly created what the lawsuit calls an environment of wild behavior filled with likely sex workers, drugged alcohol, violence and total disrespect toward women and the boat's staff. The timing couldn't be worse for the Combs family. In September 2024, a New York grand jury charged Sean Combs with serious crimes including human trafficking. Government lawyers claim Diddy forced women, some reportedly as young as 9, into what he called FreakOFFS with paid sex workers, used drugs to control them and filmed everything. The charges describe a criminal operation involving many illegal acts including arson, bribery, and kidnapping, all centered on these organized sex shows. The term FreakOFFS has become the key to the government's case. According to the charges, these weren't just parties but carefully planned performances where guests, allegedly including children, were forced into drug-filled sex acts while cameras recorded everything. The charges suggest these events were run through what they call the Combs Enterprise, described as a criminal organization led by Diddy himself, with help from employees, staff and possibly family members. This brings us back to that dramatic courtroom moment. When Grace Omar's lawyer Tyrone Blackburn mentioned claims that Christian Combs helped with and joined in FreakOFFS with minors, the mood in the courtroom changed completely. Christian's lawyer later called the lawsuit dirty and baseless, promising to fight what he called made-up lies. but the damage was done when Christian walked out. In March 2025, things got even more serious when Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's homes in Los Angeles, Miami and New York. They took computers, phones, weapons, party records, and other possible evidence. During the Los Angeles raid, both Christian and his brother Justin were briefly held and questioned, though neither was charged at that time. Video of the raid shows Christian with his hands up against a wall, then handcuffed, while Justin appears with his hands on his head before being taken down the hallway. The brother's mother released a statement with the video, claiming the raid used too much force against her sons. She suggested race played a role, stating, "If these were the sons of a non-black celebrity, they would not have been treated with the same aggression. The attempt to shame and scare these innocent young black men is disgusting." Legal experts have questioned whether sharing this footage was helpful to the Combs family's case, suggesting it might have made things worse with authorities. The government's case against Diddy is moving quickly toward a May 2025 trial in New York. Prosecutors have reportedly lined up at least 5 accusers willing to testify, including Cassie Ventura, who settled her own lawsuit against Diddy in 2023. These witnesses may describe a pattern of bad behavior that prosecutors believe will strengthen their case. Before these claims came out, Christian Combs was building his own career separate from his father. His song "Can't Stop, Won't Stop" was on the music charts in 2022, and he started a shoe line called Younger Luxury. Now every headline connects his name with scandal. On social media, fans have filled his posts with mixed responses, some defending him, others accusing him, and many demanding he speak up about the claims. So far he has stayed quiet, except for short statements through his lawyers. The next big step in Christian's case will be a motion to dismiss. His lawyer Aaron Dyer plans to argue that Grace Omar's lawsuit has big problems. No technical proof on the supposed recordings, no evidence showing minors were at any events, and no proof the tequila shots were actually drugged. If the judge agrees with Dyer, Omar may never get her day in court. However, if her lawyer convinces the judge there's enough evidence to move forward, both sides would enter the discovery phase, potentially forcing them to share emails, guest lists, boat records, and making people testify under oath. This case raises hard questions about power, fame, and accountability in the entertainment world. If these claims are true, how did these activities continue for so long without anyone stopping them? What systems failed to protect possible victims? And what does justice look like in a case where the public has already decided what they think happened? It's important to remember that right now, the claims against both Sean and Christian Combs are just that, claims. In our legal system, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in court. Both men have denied doing anything wrong through their lawyers, and promised to fight the accusations strongly. However, the size and scope of the claims, combined with the federal investigation and multiple lawsuits, suggest this story isn't over. Legal experts note that federal prosecutors usually don't go after such high-profile cases unless they think they have strong evidence. The investigation reportedly includes multiple witnesses willing to talk, possible recordings, and evidence taken during the raids. For Christian specifically, the claims come at a crucial time in his career and life. At 26 years old, he was just starting to build his own identity beyond being Diddy's son. Now, no matter what happens in court, these claims will likely follow him for years. His sudden exit from the courtroom, whether an emotional reaction to false accusations or a sign of guilt, has already become the defining image of his part in the scandal. For the alleged victims, including Grace Omar, the legal process is long and potentially re-traumatizing. Omar's decision to include voice recordings and photos in her court filing suggests she knew people might not believe her, and wanted to provide real evidence to support her claims. Her lawsuit details not just the alleged attack, but the deep emotional and mental impact it had on her life, impacts that many survivors of sexual assault report experiencing. The case also highlights questions about how wealth and fame may influence the justice system. Diddy's legal team includes some of the most expensive and experienced lawyers in the country. They've already shown they plan to fight every part of both the federal case and the lawsuits. For alleged victims with less money and power, this creates a big imbalance that can make seeking justice even harder. As for the claims involving children, these represent the most serious and disturbing parts of the case. Singer Tanya Wallace claimed in a TV interview that she saw what she believed were underage victims at one of Diddy's 2018 parties. When asked directly if she meant minors, Wallace seemed nervous but said, "I don't want to say I saw any of that crazy stuff, but we all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there." If true, these claims would represent not just criminal behavior but a terrible moral failing. The fallout from these claims has already been huge. Business deals have been cancelled, music plays have dropped, and the entire Combs family name has been badly damaged. Even if no one goes to jail from these cases, public opinion has already judged them harshly. In today's world of social media and instant news, accusations alone can forever change careers and legacies. For fans of Christian's music and the Combs family empire, this case means facing some uncomfortable truths. How do you separate the art from the artist when such serious claims are involved? Can you enjoy music made by someone accused of terrible acts? Each person must answer these questions for themselves, but they reflect the bigger conversation about accountability in entertainment. As this case continues to unfold, it will likely reveal more about how the music industry works and the systems that may have allowed bad behavior. Already, other industry figures face more questions about their own actions and who they know. This case may represent not just the potential downfall of one family's empire, but a bigger moment of accountability for an industry long plagued by claims of exploitation. What happens next depends mostly on the courts. If Christian's motion to dismiss fails, and the case moves forward to discovery, we may learn much more about what allegedly happened on that boat in December 2022. Similarly, as Diddy's federal case approaches trial, more details will likely come out about the alleged Combs enterprise and the activities prosecutors claim it enabled. The outcomes of these cases could have big implications not just for the people involved, but for how we understand power, consent, and accountability in the entertainment industry. As we finish today's video, I want to remind everyone watching that behind the shocking headlines and dramatic courtroom moments are real people whose lives have been forever changed by these events. Whether you believe the claims or not, the legal process must be allowed to work properly. Trial by social media might be unavoidable today, but real justice requires something more: careful review of evidence, respect for the legal process, and recognition of the humanity of everyone involved. The moment Christian Combs walked out of that courtroom, he didn't just leave a legal proceeding, he stepped into a storm of public judgment that will follow him no matter what the verdict is. In the days ahead, we'll be watching closely as this case develops, bringing you updates as they happen. But maybe the most important question isn't what the courts will decide, but what we as a society will learn from this troubling chapter in entertainment history. Will it lead to real change, better protection for vulnerable people, and a culture that values accountability over celebrity? Or will it fade into just another scandal, forgotten until the next big headline? The answer depends not just on judges and juries, but on all of us, and the world we choose to create. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share to help others understand these complex issues.